17B Summer History 17B at Evergreen. Some of you are at orientation Monday. If you were not, I'll do this, and this should be okay for now. We are meeting again next week, next Monday, June 27th. It is not July, it is June 27th in the library at 3 o'clock. It'll be for your the proctored exam requirement, but actually we are going to just go over some resources for your annotated bibliography, which is an assignment listed on your syllabus. Yeah, and 10 points of that assignment will be attached to you attending this. So yeah, do that. Oh, we have a soundtrack.
Hello, Professor Danny. I think you're a stupid head.
That's wonderful. Okay, so let's see what this is going to look like for some of you. Just to get on to Canvas. Canvas is the new learning management system replacing Moodle at Evergreen. I've agreed to pilot it. See, welcome to piloting your summer course. Aren't I a hero? So let's see, student login instructions. You should find a page like this, either through the Evergreen website, or you can see this one right here. Notice the login, right? First time using Canvas, get started. You click here. It gives you a whole list how to set up a password, which username you're supposed to use. Your username is from MyWeb. They're gonna, and then they help you set up your password, basically, right? This is how you log in. Follow these steps. If you need help, if there's some situation where you're not able to log in, it's really a technical issue that is not a part of not something I can resolve. So use this contact info right here. Let's get this bigger. Okay, once you're on, this is what it looks like for me. Let me see if once you're in Canvas, see, it has my username and my password. I log in. It should look something like this. You have a dashboard, basically. A dashboard just shows your list, whatever you're enrolled in. You know, right here, it's got notifications for different classes. I like to just look at courses. I don't like all the other stuff, you know, like where it's an out of order list about, you know. Anyways, your list of courses. This is History of the United States /LO. LO is for online. I don't know why it's LO. I can't remember. And it'll bring you to the class, which is History 17B, Evergreen, Summer 2016. This is what it looks like. It is intended to be in sequential order, one assignment after another, right? So it's actually kind of like, if you want to look up the definition or read about it, a hanging scroll. You know, a scroll, the paper that's rolled up, and you unroll it. This is a hanging scroll. It's unrolled all at once, where you can see from top to bottom. Go in order, and you go in order. So here's History 17B. Hey, that's the name of the class. Complete all items. Okay, well, it looks like there's one. The syllabus. Read the syllabus. Let's look at it. It's right here, and there are, you know, describes all the stuff about the class. There's a weekly schedule at the end, right? The required text, which most of you know is also available on Canvas. I'll show you. See, there's 3 assignments. There's these first 2 are basically weekly for the first 5 weeks, and then the annotated bibliography is like your course session assignment, you know, for the whole thing. Does not mean you have to turn it in the last day. It doesn't mean you put it off till the end. I know that happens. I used to do it, but it's okay to do it early and be proactive. That's why we're meeting next Monday. So read that. Read that. There's a schedule at the end too. Oh, look at that. There you go. Right? So a few chapters of reading a week. Let's go back. Where was I? Let's go back to, here we go. This is what it looks like for me. It might look a little different for you. Basically, you have reading. If it says the author's last name and then the chapter, that's the book. That's the chapter of the book. I've taken out a few pages where I could to make it leaner for you to read, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make sure the pages I deleted, you know, wasn't like the middle of a paragraph or the middle of a sentence where you turn, you know, you get to the next page and all of a sudden, you know, I try to give it some sort of, made it smooth. So only a handful of pages here and there overall. But each chapter is there. And then when it's the chapter first and it says key concepts, that's basically a handful of slides I have put together that to bring focus to each chapter. Basically, the stuff that's on the slides is really what I'm emphasizing from the chapter, what I want you to focus on. You could even look at these. Maybe I should put these first, actually. I might do that. Look at these first and use them to guide you through the reading. And then the stuff that's in the key concepts, whatever's on the quiz is going to be in here in the key concepts for chapters, right? But you see this 3-paragraph response is first. This is an assignment. You have chapter 15 key concepts, then the 3-paragraph response. That means that it's basically something that covers stuff in chapter 15, right? If it was all-encompassing chapters 15, 16, and 17 response, it would be at the bottom after everything, but it isn't. The quiz is, right? The quiz is at the bottom because the quiz is based on all 3 chapters. 10 questions, true, false, or multiple choice, roughly 3 to 4 questions, obviously, 3.333 questions from each chapter. But this 3-paragraph response comes after chapter 15's material, indicating that it's focused on chapter 15, which it is. But once you click on each of these assignments, there's actually separate information. There's separate reading or separate resources given. Sometimes it's documentaries, and some of them are really interesting documentaries. So you definitely check them out. They're very important, especially the response for next week. This is the sharecropping contract, which there's a web link, but it's also in chapter 15. And this is an article from, I believe, the LA Times. It's an editorial from the LA Times. And you just, you summarize each, you compare, just follow these instructions, very simple. You can post as a reply. So you would click reply and then boom, start typing. Now, can you indent? No. So you can either, I guess don't indent, or I would say usually 4 or 5 spaces is the same as tab. Right there, 5. I just do 5 spaces. Where's this? I like how it says we can do paragraph form, and then it won't let us hit the tab button. That's so frustrating. I've been doing a bad New York accent all day. So that's that. And it's basically in order, right? Each of these is a week. So here's the syllabus and the title of the class on top. Then week 1, boom. And then you get to the next thing. Week 2, boom. Week 3 here. Weeks 4 and 5 are hidden right now. I'm still working on those. But you have the first 3 weeks of assignments. And then at the very end, you can't see this stuff. I'll get to this. At the very end is the annotated bibliography. Click on these. These are, people are emailing, well, am I allowed to do this? Am I allowed to take this? It tells you, when you click on it right here, it tells you when it's due and when it's available to submit and when it's due. This is very simple. It's like writing a paper for a class, but instead of finding a bunch of outside sources, I just use air quotes, like books, articles, and blending them all together in one paper, and then just sort of listing your sources at the end. In this paper, in an annotated bibliography, your sources are the focus. You're actually talking about the sources. You're not just lifting stuff from the sources to support an argument. The sources like themselves are basically just your paper, your argument, right? So you choose 5. Once you've chosen, for each one, you write 3 paragraphs, right? So this is how it'll look. There's no page number minimum. You figure 5 sources, and you write 3 paragraphs on each one, and you have a citation. So 15 paragraphs, 5 citations, double spaced. You have however many pages. It could be anywhere from 4 or 5 pages to 7, 8, or more, depending. A paragraph is usually at least 4 sentences. There's an example here. So citation of the book or article, and then summarize it in the first paragraph. Assess it. Is it reliable? Is it BS? Blah, blah, blah. Who wrote it? And then in the third paragraph, how does it relate to it should say theme. How does it relate to your topic? Your theme, which I've given you 3: race, class, gender. It just makes it easier. And lots of stuff applies to all three of these. We're gonna on the 27th in the library. We're gonna watch a clip of a film. It's a Hollywood film. It's not. It takes place during one of the time periods in this class, but it's not directly related. But it's a good way to watch a few minutes of a movie, and you can highlight all three of these areas definitely: race, class, and gender. Right? They're very prominent in virtually every aspect of American life, even if people don't want to admit that, right? So, yeah. So choose one of those three. The textbook, which you cannot use, don't use the textbook. Well, we'll discuss that on Monday. Using the textbook as a source, but the textbook for this class, Give Me Liberty, is written by a professor at Columbia, who is very big in the areas of Reconstruction, the Civil War, citizenship for former slaves, the early Republican Party with Abraham Lincoln. So the race, ethnicity, civil rights issue is definitely a focus, but you can also see how he applies it to every group. It's really a book about citizenship and America. America. Proclaiming to be a place for everyone, but in certain moments that's not true, right? Discrimination against immigrants or women or gay people or African Americans, blah, 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 right? On and on and on. So basically holding America's ideals up to what it's actually doing at times, which is not, yeah. And that's okay. That's good, right? The founders would have wanted that. That's why the Constitution opens with, "We the people, in order to form a more perfect union," right? Not a perfect union, because that's impossible, but to perpetually strive towards perfection, better and better and better, or the pursuit of happiness, really self-fulfillment. Everyone being allowed to pursue happiness, to recognize their full potential, getting better every generation, right? I just dropped something. Okay, so that's that. Read that. But yeah, you should be able to go in order, basically. Let me see. Yeah, you should just be able to follow it in order. I believe it's required that you open the chapters and the key concepts. I don't think there's anything where you have to get to the end and check a box that you read it, right? But it's for your benefit for the quizzes. They're 10 questions. They're 10 minutes each. It's not that difficult, but if you haven't done if you don't do any reading and don't look at the slides, the key concepts, it's going to be, maybe you'll do all right. 6 out of 10, that's a D. Think about it. You missed 2 or 3 questions, but that's why there's a weekly writing assignment and a final assignment at the end. It all balances out. So anyways, give this a look. The thing is, this is an online class, so it is assumed incorrectly, I guess, sometimes, but it's assumed if you're taking an online class, it's the convenience of it for many of you who have kids, who work. It's definitely that should be one of the main reasons that it exists, is for your convenience. But it's not just for someone who likes the convenience. That person also has to either be familiar with using the internet and using a computer, or familiarize themselves early on, right? So get used to this thing, Canvas. Use it, Get used to having an email and checking your email every day. Get used to sending email messages that are like letters, not like texts, right? Hey, where are you? I'm at the mall. That is not how you email anyone really, but definitely not a teacher or a professional situation. Hello, hello, Mr. Allen. Hello, whatever, I'm in your summer session online history 17B. I had a question about quiz number 3. And then, but it's called troubleshooting too. You're expected to be troubleshooting. You have a Google search engine. Usually if you're on the internet, you have Google search engine right there. Where's mine? I can just type it in up here, right? You gotta, you look up if there's an issue, right? If there's an issue, you can Google search it. play around with the internet. Have fun with it. I know that some of you might be on time constraints, but you know, that's why the reason it's an online class. The reason we have online classes for your convenience is not so that you can squeeze in taking a quiz in a 15-minute space of free time you have, right? The point is that there's 24 hours in a day and there's 7 days in a week. So, you know, when there's a good chunk of time, an hour or two, you know, maybe you're a night owl, maybe you're up in the middle of the night. I am sometimes. I go on and mess around with this class and grade stuff and whatnot. So do that. Don't just because if there's 24 hours in a day and you're spending 15 minutes a week jumping onto this class, taking the quiz, and that's it, that's showing that the class is a very low priority in your life, you know? So I don't think it should be the first priority, but yeah, if you push something down the totem pole enough and don't wonder why, don't, you know, act puzzled when you get a C or lower. So anyways, June 27th in the library, 3 p.m. See you then. And I'm going to close this one out here.
Hello, Professor Danny. I think you're a stupid head.
Okay.